special day we do have, and I do have by phone with me this morning my co-host and my guest this morning, Melissa Jeremiah. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
Happy Monday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And happy Monday. You didn't seem very excited about that, right? You got to hit the ground running on Monday, right?
Right.
Yeah. I always say go boldly into the night. I don't know. I get really. I'm kind of different on that. I feel like I really try to be productive on Monday, but anyway, I don't. It doesn't always work that way, but in my head, I feel that way, right?
I think Mondays can be very productive. I mean, because you had the weekend to kind of rest up a little, and then you have a whole fresh week in front of you.
Right. Exactly. That's kind of the way I feel. Yeah, I'm always ready to get back into the routine of that. And oh, we do have Krista with us this morning. Good morning, Krista, and from Meadowview Healthcare Center, and of course we're on the phone with Melissa Jeremiah from Hoosier Uplands. So,
hi, Melissa.
Good morning, Krista.
All right, Krista. We were just talking, but Melissa, you want to go ahead and help us with those sponsors?
Yeah, we have Meadowview Healthcare, Walmart, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, Fox Curly Wealth Management, Fantastic Sam's, and AFP.
Yay! Thank you to our great sponsors. Awesome. Thank you so much. All right, Krista, we were just talking about Mondays. Do you feel like Mondays are productive for you? Oh. Melissa, yes. I wish you could see how Krista responded on that, okay? I don't think Mondays are...
Mondays are a day to catch up from, the previous week's end, and also to catch up what happened over the weekend. Mondays are a struggle for me, though.
Okay.
So, But yeah, overall, I'm sure they are productive. Well, one of the more productive days is because there's lots to do.
Well, and then do you ever leave anything on Friday and then say, I'll do it on Monday?
Oh, I try not to.
I try not to do that. That's kind of a thing. What about you, Melissa? Try to get it.
There is no way I would ever get everything done to be able to leave and not have anything left over.
Yeah, that's true too.
I just prioritize.
Yeah, that's what you have to do. Yeah. My big saying is you can't eat the whole elephant all at once. You got to take one bite at a time. So a bite I do. All right. Thank you for reading our sponsors, Melissa. Let's talk a little bit about Hoosier Uplands and the great things you do for our community. And you guys always have, actually, last time we spoke, I didn't speak with you. I got to speak and got to meet your wonderful director or the person over the preschool, the Hoosier Uplands preschool.
Yeah, we had, you guys got to speak last time to Chris, and she works in our Head Start department. And so I had asked her if she would mind taking over last month for me, and she gladly jumped right in and did it. I think it was good to hear about the Head Start and the after, I don't know if she spoke about after school or she talked about what exactly she spoke of, but I mean, we do all sorts of things.
Yeah, I think she mainly focused...
I had to find my...
Well, she mainly focused, I know, because you guys have so many things going on, so, and I know that's not necessarily your department, but she was really, she did a fantastic job, and Krista was with me, and she spoke more about the preschool, the Head Start, getting kind of that first, that first little bit of a getting everybody ready for school. And I said, and I think Krista and I both were talking about how what a blessing it is to have that help before they actually enter kindergarten.
Yeah, I think that's very important, and also, I think some parents are better at maybe like sitting down and helping their children learn different things or whatnot, but I think that, it can be hard when it's your own child and you're trying to teach them, certain skills and things that they need, because I think sometimes children tend to listen to others, like the Head Start teachers or, a preschool teacher or, something like that. Sometimes they're not as motivated to sit down and learn those things from their parents.
Also, when they're with their peers, too, it's amazing, I could say something about, it's the weather's beautiful today, and then it's amazing whenever one of their friends would say, "Oh, it's beautiful outside." You know what I mean? Or just something, right? It's amazing whenever they see their peers, their classmates, and their friends. That's a learning experience too, all in itself.
Right.
Learning how to
interact with others and get those socialization skills going. Because I think sometimes that's something that we lack, especially with all the computer, all of our computers and our phones and different things. I think sometimes we lose that socialization part.
When Chris was on, I think Becky and I both remarked we were surprised how many children were involved in that program. There are so many in our community county involved in Head Start. We had neither one of us, I don't think, realized the widespread assistance that was offered.
Right.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'm glad you remembered that. That's exactly right. Yeah, it was. There's, which is a blessing for our community, and Hoosier Uplands, you guys are rock stars too. I'm not supposed to after that commercial. Oh yeah, after the Super Bowl commercial, I'm always. But no, you guys do a fantastic job, and that was something. Yeah, Krista and I were amazed at how many children are that are involved in Head Start and all the great things. So that was really cool, and I appreciate you. I wouldn't mind having the different departments call in, because you do have different departments that help from I always say from the womb on on up. You guys do so much.
Yeah, I was looking at our annual report. We don't have this year's yet. We should be getting it soon, but I just kind of browsed through it real quick, and just so I wouldn't leave out anyone. But we do energy assistance, weatherization. We also have the scholarship program that we do for the local high schools in the area, and then of course children's services. We have strategic development. The Opera House, we have apartment buildings that we own and operate, and then we have the area on aging that's across the street from us. We do the Martin County Health Department, and then Serenity Now, psychiatric and counseling clinic, and then of course I'm over the home health and hospice. And our phone number is 1-812-849-4447, and you can call that number, and if there's something that you think that we may be able to help with, the person at the front desk does a really good job of being able to get someone to the right department.
That's what I called the mothership.
Yeah.
The mothership, and the mothership will help you.
You should have on Starfleet uniforms with the little...
that in my head, that's what I think you guys do. You know what I mean? In my mind, when I say call the mothership, that's exactly what I think. Totally. Yeah, beam me up, Scotty. Okay, so let's go back. Melissa, right now we're in February, so, we had a cold January, and a lot of people are probably getting their January bills, or, starting to get some of their cold temperature bills, which we know are up a little bit because of the, how much we had to use the heat. And that's something that I never want anybody to ever realize or forget that we have that assistance available.
Right.
And that's such a...
I mean, there's guidelines for it, and it's just like an application process, and then you either, meet the criteria, don't meet the criteria, and it, automatically sets like an amount of assistance if a person's eligible.
Right, and that's such a blessing. I think, and like everything has to have guidelines. That makes sense. But I think that's such a blessing for someone maybe who's living on a fixed income or needs, and for whatever reason, some of those bills were spiking up, pretty high. So it's a blessing that there's help, and I want people to use the resources if they're available, when they're available like that.
Right.
Yes.
Because I know there was a couple of months ago that our heat bill, I think it went up like $200 or something like that. I told my husband, I said, did we not pay the bill like last month or something? It seemed like it was like two bills, but it was just one. It was crazy.
No, I think I felt that too. What about you, Chris?
I did too.
Yeah. So, like anything, I guess, you know what I mean? Everything goes up, right? So, why would it not, right? But I do think that's a blessing for people that need assistance on that. So, that's available. And then of course Serenity now. I always like to, if you need to talk with someone, that's such a blessing that we have that up in Bedford. So a great service. Melissa, so we're ending February. Actually, we've not done Today Is, which I love Today Is. So we're ending February, and we're getting close to marching into March, which is my birthday month. So it happens to be one of my favorite. Yeah, favorite. Even though I'm not always crazy about my birthdays, you know what I mean. But it's always I don't know why. You still can't help that. So we're going to talk about some getting ready. But I do want to say we're on to the 27th day of February. Today is International Polar Bear Day.
Oh.
Would you like to see a polar bear besides at the zoo?
Yes, I think polar bears are pretty awesome.
I do
They're
too.
massive.
Oh, yeah. What about
Isn't it
you?
incredible how with the cold extremities that they can tolerate. I'm serious.
No, I know. I know.
It's just so. I don't know. It's just
I would love to see a polar bear. But they say that I seen some like nature show or something, and they said that polar bears are very very loner type animals, and so normally you'll only see one unless the mom has like her cubs during the time when she keeps her cubs with her, and then after that they kind of just live in solitary by themselves.
Wow. Well, that's unique. I did not know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I'm always amazed, like, when you're, like, if you go to a zoo and it's, like, cold and all of a sudden they dive in the water and they love it. You know what I mean? It's just like, that water's freezing. Or they'll have big ice chunks in the water, you know what I mean? And they're, like, playing with the ice and I'm like, you gotta be kidding. You know what I mean? You talk about a polar plunge.
Can you imagine how much they're, like, bear sweating in the summer around here? I mean,
true.
That is uncomfortable for them.
I love the famous polar bear though at Christmas drinking the Coca-Cola.
Yes, that's always fun.
Oh,
I love that. All right, National Kahlua Day.
You mean like
The alcohol.
the beverage?
Yeah, isn't it called Kahlua? Am I saying that?
Kahlua.
Kahlua Day.
It's delicious.
Okay. Thumbs up. What about you, Melissa? No comment or?
I know what Kahlua is. I don't know. It makes me think of like Hawaii or something.
It's like a coffee liqueur.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
It's usually mixed with like vodka or something else and a fancy drink.
Well, I was going to say, we should have been celebrating here on Coffee Club. And took one to Melissa.
If only I'd known.
I picked it up on my way to work.
There you go.
Well, we had one of the bourbon distillers in here, and she brought samples, and yeah, it was very interesting on Coffee Club. National Protein Day.
That's good.
Yeah. Now, if you know all of this protein, everybody's protein. Can you get too much protein, Melissa? Krista?
Isn't it some people that have some kidney challenges, aren't they supposed to limit their protein intake? Isn't that what it is? I'm pretty sure that's...
I would say that you probably could get too much protein because like there's like the keto diet, isn't that like primarily protein, and then it can, some people say it helps your heart and some people say it damages your heart. It just depends on what you read.
That's exactly right. We just talked about that earlier, didn't we, Melissa, before we went on the air, about drinking. I heard that, I don't want to do fake news though, but I heard like you can drink too much water, that it wasn't, and I don't want to say that. I'm not a doctor, don't play one on TV. But I read somewhere that you can drink too much water and actually kind of, be rough on your bladder, you know what I mean? And Melissa said she'd never heard that before. Had you ever heard that, Chris?
Sure. If you get too much fluid, you can, I don't know about the bladder part. From like a, biological perspective, if you can flush out too many electrolytes in your system and, have some problems that way.
No, because like if you drink too much water, it's kind of like if you think of your body like a glass of water and you think of it as like you're having all your electrolytes and things in it. If you don't replace your electrolytes and just keep on pouring water in it, then eventually all your electrolytes become too low.
Yep.
Yeah. I've had that word like electrolytes. Yeah.
All right. The bladder thing I had never heard before.
I'd heard that. I'm afraid to even say it because I really don't want to do fake news. But I heard it stretches your bladder and can be, like where you later on might have bladder problems because it stretches your bladder too much. I don't know.
I know, like with being a nurse, and
you guys are the medical
I would say then that probably every nurse in the world probably has a distended bladder because you don't ever have time to, it's like you're up and running and so busy that you don't ever get a chance to get to the restroom, and then, it's, so I would say that it could distend it, but as far as it causing trouble, I don't know that part.
Yeah. We've never heard that one, so, okay. All right, we'll put that one over there on the side, fake news.
Okay. Okay.
National Retro Day. I love retro, right? Bring it back, right?
Absolutely. Sure.
I love that. You guys like this? Melissa, do you like National Strawberry Day?
Yeah, I like strawberries.
Yeah, what about you?
Strawberries are good.
Yeah. It shows a big old piece of cake and strawberries all over it and whipped cream. Like a strawberry shortcake.
Yeah. Sounds nice.
Have mercy. I've really been getting some good strawberries lately, too. On Valentine's Day, I had the chocolate, the strawberries dipped in chocolate. And my strawberries were so sweet.
Really?
Yeah, I just have to give that report. I had well, not always, you got the chocolate, but sometimes the strawberry's not that good. But they're good strawberry, coming in strong. It's those little things, you guys. Come on.
It's early in the season. That's always nice when you have a quality fruit.
And in Borden, they started that strawberry. They did it last year, that strawberry festival. Mm-hmm. And Salem Crossing and Meadowview, you guys went down there and did bingo.
Yeah.
And it was packed.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you could not, the line was like, it was so busy, such a big, I mean, to even get into the festival.
Yeah.
So they're going to be doing that again this year. So.
Yeah. That's exciting that many people were involved in bringing that event back after a lull for a couple of years.
Yeah. The good news was they had the strawberry shortcake and they did not run out. They understood the assignment. You know what I mean? No. I mean, right. Have you not been somewhere like that, you know what I mean, and they run out of stuff because so many people. Yeah. They had not predicted that many people, but whoever, I said some chefs there, making the cakes and strawberries had to be like good mommies or grandmas that knew you always go full, full throttle, you know what I mean? And so they didn't run out, but they had more people than they had anticipated. So you guys were very much involved. We did bingo and stuff, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, had a strong presence last year.
Yeah, we did, definitely. I heard you guys were eating the strawberry shortcake too.
Yes.
When in Rome, right?
That's right.
Also, no-brainer day. Does anybody ever say that's no-brainer? That's a no-brainer.
I would say it's not rocket science.
I love that. I have a tendency to say that, and then I'll now I'll be saying that for a little while. No, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. I say it sometimes. I guess I tend to say easy peasy.
Oh, lemon squeezy. I do that too. Easy peasy or no-brainer. Yeah. Now you got me saying. Now all day long I'll be saying that stuff. Oh, that's easy peasy, no-brainer, and it's not rocket science. Yeah. Pokemon Day.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Melissa, did you play Pokemon? Krista didn't, obviously.
No.
I didn't play Pokemon, but Sean, well, I had played the Pokemon like that used to be on our phones, like on where you could find the Pokemon. Talking about they had like an app and they would be hidden around and you would find them and catch them.
Right.
It was like digital type thing.
Yeah.
But Sean used to have the Pokemon cards.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Well, remember the Pokemon game? Everybody was playing it, like running around, and they kind of had to. I think it was getting kind of crazy. Well, we had. I didn't play, but we had a Pokemon. Somehow they found one here. You would find one at the station, and we had people driving in, parking in the parking lot. Yeah, and it was hilarious. You know what I mean? No, I mean they were like on a mission. I mean, like really, just crazy trying to run around town trying to find the Pokemon. And there was one here at the station, which is funny to me. It was funny to be a part, but yeah, I didn't play.
There was one in our yard.
Oh.
Do people just ran?
No, they random. No, they go for it. they came in the parking lot and they were looking for the Pokemon. They found it and then they ran out. Yeah, they didn't do anything bad.
Did somebody put it there, or is it just a digital marker?
It's a digital marker that they put different places. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's nothing like that you can see. There's nothing like nothing solid. Just, yeah, and so I didn't know it was there because I don't play, and all these people kept coming in the parking lot. Yeah, and they held their phones up and stuff. You know what I mean? And I'm like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? It was Pokemon. Yeah, so that's been a few years ago. Let's see here. So get out and enjoy the holidays for sure. There we go. Well, we are to the downhill slide of February. So we're going to be, let's talk about getting, we've had, you really get socked and rocked. You have Thanksgiving. Then you go into Christmas. And before the Christmas, all the Christmas parties. And then you go into February, Valentine's Day, with all the chocolates and stuff. And now we're going to be getting into bathing suit weather.
Oh, no.
So, Melissa, anyway, for bathing suit or not, let's talk about, how important it is to get outside and get moving and taking care of yourself. And Krista, join in.
Well, I'm a big fan of health and wellness. I used to work at the Y, so I always have that foundation in my heart somewhere. I'm not a very good example most of the time, but I think it's very important to take care of yourself, whether it's going to a class or walking or doing yoga in your living room, whatever it is that makes you feel good. I think that's very important for your well-being as well as your physical self.
What about you, Melissa?
I do think that as the weather warms up, that will help people with their fitness, because I think that sometimes people don't give themselves enough credit for the things that they do. That is, activity. Like whether it be just like taking your grandkids for a walk, and like we have the walking, the walking path or whatever you want to call it over by the schools, that I see several people, put on Facebook that they take their grandkids out there and they walk and do things with them. So, a lot of times those of us that are the age where we have grandchildren, it's like whenever you're out playing with them, that's actually activity. That's something you can count as, that you're being active.
Yeah, I think getting out and moving. And a lot of times when you're out with little ones like that, you don't realize, time goes by so fast and you've really got a lot of good movement in. You've got a lot of steps in.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and it's important to, we used to have a garden show on here, and that was something that I thought was always good. Before, actually, the very first show, always, they would talk about, even like gardening or whatever you're planning on doing, flowers, doing some stretches and doing some bending, because your body hasn't done that, in November, December, and January. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was always good. At first, it was kind of, at first I thought, oh, wow, you never think about that. But when you're doing gardening, or if you're doing, planting or whatever you're doing outside, there's a lot of muscles that maybe haven't been used in a while, and stretching and getting out and bending and doing some different, maybe moves is good.
Or even, things like cleaning out your garage, or like doing things around the house where like you're kind of reshuffling, furniture around, let's move the couch over here, let's do this, all those things are, lifting and activity. It's not, like I said, I just think sometimes, you think of exercise and you think of like going somewhere and, actually doing like set exercises or using equipment. And there's a lot of ways that you can be active just by being outdoors, or even in your house doing things in your house that are actually physical activity.
Well, and you're talking like spring cleaning. When you spring clean, you have to move all the furniture and move in. And if there's anything, if I get stressed, I move furniture. That's a little fun fact about me. Yeah. So if you see the furniture moved, which I move furniture, from time to time, you'll know. Not necessarily, it's funny because sometimes I'll just move it because, And Greg will say, "Were you stressed?" When he stubs his toe because he hasn't got the light on or something, and there's furniture somewhere different. Were you stressed? No, I just decided to move it, So, but it is. But for spring cleaning, or whatever you're doing, for washing windows, washing the car, washing the dog, whatever you're doing, there's some different times of movement. So, I just think it's funny if you live in a neighborhood and you go outside and you're doing your stretches. Your neighbor might say, "What's going on?" "I'm getting ready to do my garden. I'm getting ready to do my windows."
I was working in my basement yesterday. I'm finishing off my basement. I personally am not finishing
Oh,
off
are
my
you? I was
basement.
going to say,
Yeah.
is there a little something we don't know about you?
I need to rephrase that. I personally am not doing it, but I'm having my basement finished.
Okay.
And in doing that, the guys that are working on it took down the drop ceiling, which was really, really gross. And so I was cleaning that up yesterday and spent a few hours down there moving around stuff. And yeah, I think that qualified as had some work yesterday. So I can mark that on my
Krista got her workout yesterday.
mental list
Yeah.
of exercise yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and you do, when you go out and pull weeds,
Sure.
when you do pull weeds and get out there and let's say, and I always pick beans or, or picking tomatoes or whatever you're doing, blueberries or whatever you're doing. And when you get out there, you are getting some exercise. You're moving,
Well, and also, I know that, my phone, and I know, some people have, the Fitbits and different things that they wear on them. But I know one day Jeff and we had gone to Gatlinburg, and we had been, up doing things, and I had my little Fitbit on my arm and things, and it started, going off. It was, vibrating, and I looked down, and it says, "You have reached 10,000 steps." And I was like, wow, and when you're out having fun, sometimes you don't realize that you're walking as much as what you are.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And you did bring up, and I do want to stress, we are so blessed to have that walking trail. And it is such a good walking trail to get out and get moving. And we also have Lake Celinda out there, which I love to go out there and go walking. And we're very blessed to have in our community, the different places and resources. If you want a little more wilderness, go out to Lake Celinda. If you want a little more, or I guess primitive would be more Celinda. If you want to go the other, you have the pavement. So you could, or switch it up. You go every other day, But it's such a blessing that we've got facilities to walk.
Well, and we also have, if you really want to get crazy, you have, the Knobstone Trail.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you can walk a long way on that.
That is true. That is true. Well, and I think, my watch will tell me too. It'll say, I love when it says "good job," good job. Yeah, I needed that. Or your rings are closed. Or sometimes if I'm in a meeting, it'll tell me I need to stand. Mm-hmm. Or or you need to breathe. Yeah, so I'm like, yeah. So, and then it's of a night, sometimes it'll say, let's reflect on the day. Take time to reflect on your day. And I'm like, okay.
Your watch is kind of messy.
Well, and also, we are very blessed in our area to have so many state parks in Indiana and in Kentucky that are within driving distance. And, so I know that over the summer, or over last year, one of my friends on Facebook, her grandson and her went to each one of the state parks and hit every single one of them in Indiana. So, we do have a lot of places you can go have activity that's fun, fun activity.
Yeah. And you're right. And the state parks get out and move. I think it's just getting out and moving. You know what I mean? And I think that, and I know we're not going to talk about, because we're going to go back, but during COVID, did we not learn that about, you had different ways you could play, not play, but you could do COVID. You could either, a lot of times, or you had to stay home, and, are you going to finish off all of those Oreos, or are you going to go, and I'm not judging anybody, no, you know what I mean? I don't think I didn't finish off a few, but, I didn't stay home, I had to come to work, but anyway, I know you did too, and I know Melissa, you guys everyone here had to work, But for those that didn't, or you're going to get out and get moving. And I think we saw more outdoor activities, more moving, more, of course, definitely picked up on camping and recreational, which was really a good thing on that.
Sure. The walking trail got lots of action.
That's true.
Then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's something we could do.
Right.
You know
It's
what I mean?
outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And also as a family too, getting, and I think too, getting the little ones. Like Melissa said earlier, we are very much involved in our phones a lot of times, or our computers, or our iPads, or whatever you have, whatever device, and we don't actually get out and get moving. And I'm a big believer in moving.
Absolutely.
Melissa, do you find that to be true?
Yeah, I mean, I think that you can either, like sit with your phone and do things with your phone, or you can, get out and do activities. Or you can take your phone and do activities, like the Pokemon thing you were talking about earlier. It's like we go to eat a lot down by the river in Jeffersonville or Clarksville. They all kind of run together, and it's hard for me to know where I am, but a lot of people take their phones and still do that Pokemon hunting down there by the river, because I guess there's tons of them down there. And so, that's, what it takes to get you up and active and entertained, to be able to get up and walking around and stuff. I think that, that's a good thing as well.
Oh, so Pokemon is still going on. That's hilarious. That is great. I did not know that. I did not know that Pokemon lives.
A lot, like down by, like when we're eating, they're down by the river, and most of them have their phone, and you can tell that's what they're doing.
Oh, that's funny.
Interesting.
I did not know that. That's great. It's good to know that. Well, it is interesting, and also, the sidewalk chalk. That's getting out and moving and drawing and and decorating your own sidewalk. And I know that's popular on. So a lot of people do that on the walking trail too. They'll get out and do that, which I like that. And then also, just getting out and flying a kite. We were talking about that the other day. It was Fly a Kite Day, and we're going to be entering into March when our weather, actually some wind going on. You can get out and fly a kite. People don't do that anymore.
I always get so frustrated when I try to fly a kite.
Do you?
Well, then not skilled in that area. I've tried.
Well, that's one of my skills that I can do. I can fly a kite. Yeah.
You have to give me pointers.
I will. That was important. My mom and dad, we did fly kites, and stuff. So I feel like I'm not, I don't play one on TV or a professional, but I can fly a kite. Yeah. Which is a lot of fun to do, and a lot of times we go through where we forget to do that kind of stuff.
Or maybe, like we used to play like Frisbee, whenever we were kids, like throw the Frisbee back and forth.
Yeah, and there's some arm movement in that, and leg movement.
Frisbee,
or if you're, helping your kids, like while they're practicing, if it's throwing a football or throwing a baseball or, like, I don't know, do they still have, like, wiffle ball? We used to play that when we were kids.
Yeah, wiffle ball's good. My favorite was kickball. I love kickball. I love a good game of kickball. I'm in. I don't care. I will. If someone yells that they want to play kickball, I'm in. I don't. I don't care. I don't care where we're at. I love to play kickball.
I did not grow up here. I grew up in Illinois, and we played Foursquare at school on like recess and stuff. Did you guys play that?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We would have you would have 4 squares, and then like one person would be like the serving person, and like you would hit like a ball like you would use for kickball, only you would hit it back and forth between each other, and then when the person missed, then they would be out, and you would take their square, and another person would come in and play. It could be kind of rough though, because some people would really take the ball and hit it towards people, but
yeah, no, I have never played that before. I've never even heard it before. You know what I mean? Yeah. That maybe is an Illinois thing, which is cool to know. It's always neat to hear how different different games and stuff. But no, I don't know about that one. but I would play it.
I looked it up on the internet. They still have it.
Oh, do they?
It's a game that goes all the way back to the 1950s.
Huh. Interesting.
Oh, and it says that you can even mark your sidewalk with chalk and play. So see, you could get in all kinds of exercise. You could play kickball and then go mark your sidewalk with chalk and then play foursquare.
Well, there you go.
Okay.
I like that. And and you could be introduced to a new game. I'm all about that, playing new games. And of course, I think with the weather and everything, I think it's good, and it's just good reminders. And sometimes we get in a habit, you know what I mean, where it's been cold and then all of a sudden it goes warm, and we get in a habit of doing, like, just staying inside. And we realize that go have your lunch outside, go, just step outside, maybe take a little bit of a fresh air, a little bit of a walk. It's always good for for your health inside and out, right? Mental and physical.
Yes, it is. Get your vitamin D.
What about badminton? Do people still play badminton?
I love
That's
badminton.
something we would play when we were kids too.
Yeah, I do too. I love badminton. Yeah.
I had a big backyard, and my friend Stacy and I, we would play badminton all the time. Or frisbee, but it was usually badminton. We had more fun with that.
Yeah. I love badminton, and you can still get that. I mean, people, you
Sure.
can still get all that. That's something that a lot of times people forget. And I love volleyball. I used to play volleyball. I love volleyball.
I like volleyball. I'm not very good at it, but
Yeah. But it's
occasionally
still
like
fun to
play.
be a part. Yeah, you know
Sure.
what I mean. Every now and then, Krista, get that.
oh, I missed it.
Next time, Krista. Next time. Yeah, it's all right, and it's fun. That's part of being a game. And let's talk the ultimate. If you can find a pool and go swimming, right? That's always fun too.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not a strong swimmer, but
I love
it's
swimming.
nice.
I love swimming. Yeah. But there's different places to swim and get out and get moving, and that's always a good exercise for sure.
Mm-hmm. Overall. Just
Yeah.
whole body exercise.
So do you know, is the local pool going to open this year?
No, not this year, but no, I didn't. But we have other areas that you can go and visit. You know what I mean? So
Brownstown has a really good
Brownstown
splash.
pool is fantastic.
Yeah.
It really is good. Brownstown's got a really good pool. I went there the first time last year, and I was very impressed with that. Yeah. You also have Spring Mill. They have a pool too.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Down in New Albany, off of State Street, is that lovely water park down there.
They've got a really nice water park.
Yeah. And honestly, I think in the next couple of years you'll be surprised downtown. There is going to be something that the city's cooking up. So
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Nice. Yeah. Well, and then a lot of times people actually, because it, schedules and time, because sometimes, pools close at 4 or 5, and sometimes you don't get off work till 7 or 8, and we know that it's still light and pretty at 9 and 10. A lot of times people just get their own pool,
yeah.
and just do, have something at home that they can utilize it whenever they want to. And also, we learned too that it, having that little bit of making sure that, that if you had the social distance, we learned during COVID that, pools are nice to have one for yourself that you can utilize, because a lot of pools were not able to be open during COVID, trying to keep it all clean and everything, and the guidelines, that you were given by the state. These were very, and I know in everything, and everybody, I know with Hoosier Uplands, I know Meadowview, Salem Crossing, you guys all have your guidelines you have to go through, and they're not, and sometimes it's hard to meet that, and especially, when you're talking water and people, in water,
Kids run
bodies
around,
in
wanting to
water,
play.
not drinking the water, or anything else, right? I'm not going to go there. It's breakfast time. I don't want to ruin anybody's breakfast, but things happen in water, so so sometimes it's just nice to have your own pool, right? Yeah. But anyway, so just getting out, getting moving, and that's what's important too. And I know Hoosier Uplands, you guys encourage that too, and there's some really good videos too. I used to work out with what was his name, Richard Simmons.
Yeah.
Sweating to the oldies, right? Yeah. Now, come on. You girls didn't do that?
Sure.
Come on.
I think I laughed.
Well, did you used to have like they have like the arms of steel, bones of steel, like those
Sure.
PCR tapes from back in the day?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Sure did. There was somebody that used to, some lady, she had it, and I don't remember what channel it was on. She would get up like at 4 or 5, and I'd get up at 4 or 5 with her. She wasn't up at 4 or 5. It was taped, I'm sure. But she was like in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And it was just so cool to see the backdrop. She would do it at some beautiful Hawaiian place or whatever, and she was good. So, and the thing is too, you know, start little. Don't try to jump right in. You know what I mean? You gotta, you know, pace yourself. You know.
Yeah.
I know Dr. Carty, I'm fairly certain it was Dr. Carty, had a thing on Facebook that there's this guy, and I don't know what he weighs, but he weighs like maybe like 500 pounds or something, and every day he makes a video just to like motivate him and, you know, make him, you know, feel the need to have to get up and do. And like one day he may just like walk down like 3 stairs like from his deck, and then just like walk like a lap around his yard, and that's like all he does that day. But then the next day he adds, you know, like every day he adds a little bit more to what he's doing. But to make himself accountable, he records it every day and puts it on his Facebook.
I love that.
Other states.
Oh, I love that so much. You know, that's exactly right. You know, and it is motivating. And like, you know, start small. Just, you know, if you haven't worked out in a while, don't just go out and try to do a marathon.
Yeah.
But no, and it's just simple, you know, simplicity. Just, you know, do some stretches, do some moves, and walk a little bit, and do your best that day, and then try to, you know, keep increasing, you know.
Well, and I know that I never did complete it because life got in the way or whatever, but I had found on the internet where it was how to walk how to be able to do a 5K within a certain amount of time, and it would tell you, like on day 1, you know, you may only do like 5 minutes and walk X amount, you know, of steps or whatever, and then it's like each day it would build and build and build, and then eventually you'd be able to run a 5K.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, I have ran 3 or 4 5Ks, but I'm not, I mean, I had to, you know, I had that, a lot of encouragement, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And let's just say, you know, I wasn't always the fastest. Okay? You were not gonna see me leading. I was not the leader of the pack. Okay.
But you know what? You did it.
Yeah, I was that gazelle that would have been eaten by the lion. You know what I mean? That last one. We'll grab that one. I would have been picked off. If I was in the wilderness, I would have gone first. Okay.
I found it again. It's 5K in a month. So you can just like Google it, and it says to go from your couch to a 5K in a month, and then it tells you like what to do every day.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's cool. Yeah, really, we have all kinds of resources. Years ago, you know, we didn't have all this, and like you had to get up at 4 or 5 in the morning and watch. You know, I mean, I could, you know, now you could watch that at any time, right?
Right.
Or we had to do the Richard Simmons, you know, trying to find the tape, which I did like those Sweat Until Oldies. That was fun. And you didn't really realize, they went really quick because I love music. And that, you know, when there's music, I don't realize, you know, I can dance all the time, you know, dance all night long. But the other thing, what is it, the jazzercise, remember all that, and aerobics. I used to be in all that, and I enjoyed it. But then you kind of stop doing that, and then you go a different direction. You just try other things, you know. But it's hard, and I think something we're talking about, ladies. We're all, you know, working and going and doing, but you have to take time for yourself. And that's a lot of times where we don't do that, don't you think?
Yeah. I'm not good at that. I'm just not. I usually don't put myself first as far as anything, you know, exercise or, you know, I always feed kids first, you know, I mean, just whatever, you know. But that's just, some people are just like that, and we just have to try harder to take time for ourselves and make sure that we're healthy so that we can help care for other people.
Well, I was going to say, when you get on an airplane, first thing they say is put your mask on first so you can help,
Mm-hmm.
And I think that moms, we tend to do that. Business women, we try to, you feel like you do try to get everything else taken care of, or everybody else taken care of, and then it's like, then you're ready to drop at the end of the day.
Yes. Yeah. But, logically that all makes sense. You put your own mask on so you can help other people. That's just, if you just think about it logically and not as a mom or something.
What about you, Melissa? Do you feel the same way?
I mean, I think that, it is a lot easier to, try to help out other people than, thinking about yourself. But then I think that you also have to, it comes to a point where, you do have to realize that if you get down, then you're not going to be able to help the other people that you're supposed to be caring for. So, part of taking care of yourself is also giving you the ability to be able to take care of other people.
That's true. Very true. Well, and those are just good reminders. We're not like nagging on anyone, because all of our listeners, everybody can be guilty of this, and everybody's pointing fingers, in the mirror at themselves too. Because I'm guilty of that too. But I do know that if I try to do a little bit, and I mean something like whether it's get out and take a walk, whether it's doing some stretches, whether it's just any of that, I do feel better, and it gives me a little bit more clarity and gives me a little bit more, I guess, makes my mood a little bit better.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's ever finished a walk and then said I hated what usually no. It's like I heard Jessica Simpson.
Depends on how far you walk.
Oh, that's true. How bad your feet hurt, yeah. Well, I heard Jessica Simpson one time on an interview, and she said that, like, she does a lot of walking, and she does that for her health, and she said that some days she just almost cries as she walks because she doesn't necessarily want to do it, but she knows she feels better after she does it. Yeah. So, yeah, I could shed a few tears too, but it is good, and getting out and playing. It is the season. We've seen the flowers are coming up. Spring looks like I'm not saying that we won't have some snow. We are in this area that could happen. We're not out of that zone yet, and it's not. What's the date? Is it March or it's May? When are we over the frost? We're in section 5 for planting. Is it right by Mother's Day? Is it May the 16th? I can't remember. No, or May the.
I don't know.
I do know. I usually know. I can't believe I don't know this. Melissa, do you know?
I have no idea.
I can't remember. I should know this, but it's right after Derby, but it's the time that, like, in our zone that we can start putting stuff in and pretty well over the frost.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and start putting plants and stuff in. So I always get excited.
I don't know if this is accurate, but if I just Google it, it comes up and says March 27th.
Not for that wouldn't be for our zone. That would be a little early for our zone, I think, because usually it's right after Derby, because usually Derby has beautiful flowers and stuff and things they always plant and have it all done up, and then it seems like then about that week or so, that the week after is when we can start in our zone start putting flowers in. I should know this, and I promise I will figure this out and come back on Coffee Club, and I can do better.
Hey, there's a zone, you said?
Yeah, we're 5. We're a zone 5.
Okay. Because I just found something about zones.
Yeah, we're the zone 5.
Zones.
Yeah, zone. And you always, like, when you go to plant, I'm not a professional again. I'm not a master gardener, but someday I'd love to be.
May 15th.
May 15th, that's right. Yeah, okay, so it'd be after Derby, a week or two after Derby. So, because usually, Derby's the first Saturday in May, and then usually, like, the second week is when we can start planting. So, but I always...
Last frost, May 15th, and the first frost will be October 15th.
Yeah, May to October. Yeah, that makes sense. So, so usually that, and it really is true. I mean, it's crazy how accurate that is, you know what I mean? So, but I always have a tendency, because you start seeing all the spring flowers and all the and which I'm attracted to. I love all that. And before too long, like, around St. Patrick's Day, they'll have little shamrocks and stuff, flowers, and I call them that. I don't know if that's good. I'm sure they have a plant name. And then, anyway, so that is exciting, but I know and then you start seeing the birds, the robins are coming, I think the green grass is starting, and of course baseball. It's like spring as it gets in the air, and you start getting spring fever, if you will.
Yeah. And then there's a cold snap, and it's like, oh, no. But it's all going to be better soon.
All better. That's right. It's okay. We can do this, right?
That's right.
Yeah. And if you have trouble doing that, then go see Serenity Now. Go talk to them, right?
There you go.
Yeah. They can help you with that. And I think there is I think we all do feel better when we see that sunshine too. There is a lot of that has to play into that.
Well, and I know people that have like what they call happy likes. So like whenever it is like the winter months, because you can get seasonal affective disorder where people do have more, depression and anxiety and things during those times. And they're like these lights that like put off more of, I don't know if it's ultraviolet or whatever kind of light, and it supposedly helps with your mood since the days are more dark and dreary.
Right, yeah. And they say those, I don't have one, but I've heard those work, and I know now, years ago, they were kind of like hard to find. I think you can get them more, they're easier to get now, Amazon or, you can get those. And you might couldn't hurt anything,
Those are helpful on dementia units when they have sensory rooms. Salem Crossing, they have sensory therapy that they do over there, and that's one of the tools that they use, and it is helpful.
I've heard people that like they set it in like as they wake up, like of a morning, and like it'll go brighter like at whatever time they've got to get up, and I think that would be nice. Yeah. And Christy, you bring up a good point because Salem Crossing has got that dementia. I love the way that's your sister facility. I love the way you guys complement each other.
Yeah. And
your uniqueness with Meadowview, of course, you've got several wonderful, great things, but also is the veterans contract that you have, and I just always want people to know that because I don't know that I just want to make sure that everybody knows that that's available, and that's such a blessing that Meadowview has that.
It is, yeah. And I think I've mentioned this before. The VA contract is something that's not extremely common, and so many times we have veterans that come and visit us or stay with us. From Louisville or even further into Kentucky or even from up in more northern parts of Indiana. So yes, it is a very big asset for us, and you're right, we do complement each other. We have two kind of different settings, and they have a wonderful dementia unit over there, and actually I used to work over there. I was over the dementia unit, so I'm very familiar with that. And they have a wonderful environment, great staff that are able to focus on dementia needs and people that just have different challenges than many other long-term care residents have. And then over at Meadowview, we have, like Becky said, the BA that we cater to, and then we also have a larger therapy gym over there. And an interesting fact not everybody realizes is the therapy staff goes between both buildings. So same people for the most part. It's just that over at Meadowview we have a little bit larger space.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that is nice because I hear bragging on your therapy. I love, and I think something that our community works so hard for the person. Everybody works together. Salem Crossing, Meadowview, Hoosier Uplands, you guys everybody blends so well. Yeah. And everybody's the best interest is the person.
Absolutely.
And finding out what that person, and everybody's unique, every person's different, every person's going to be having different needs, every family's going to have different needs, and it's a blessing that we have Hoosier Uplands, Salem Crossing, and Meadowview to offer that.
Yep, it's nice to have options, and it's nice to be here in the community when people need us.
Yeah, very much so. And Melissa, because you've been here for a while, and Krista, you too. Meadowview has been a staple in our community, and you think of, if you go back, it almost gives you it has to give you just cold chills to realize how many families and how many people have been through Meadowview, and how many families we've touched in our community and surrounding communities, like you said.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's thousands,
Oh,
thousands and thousands of residents
absolutely.
have gone through Meadowview and Williams when it was before
exactly. Yeah.
Meadowview. And it's not just the residents themselves; it's all the family members that were also involved.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
And how many people it's employed?
yes.
I mean, really, look what it does for our community, and look at Hoosier Uplands. I mean, you guys, both facilities, Hoosier Uplands. We got Melissa with us today, and of course Krista. We're talking about Meadowview, and we're talking about Hoosier Uplands. But both of you, look what you do for the community as far as keeping employed, and the amount of people you have.
Right. At it's just an average that I have around 100 employees at any one time, and so. And that's across all departments, not just nursing or not just maintenance or culinary. It's everyone, and so right. I mean that's a lot of people,
And that's wonderful for our community.
Yeah,
and job opportunities.
Yeah. And we have some positions that are learn as you go, like our nurse aid and training program. That's a learn as you go, where you'll be able to test to be a certified nursing assistant or a certified nursing aide. And it's not everyone realizes that that's available, and you're getting paid while you do it. It's not just something where you have to go to school first before you get a job.
Right. And that's a nice little hand up, not a handout.
That's right.
And that's, especially, when you're a parent and you're wanting to go further and you'd like to go back into nursing, but you also have, bills and children, it's nice to get paid while you're doing it.
That's right.
That's a huge blessing. So, and Melissa, Hoosier Uplands, you guys do all kinds of great things too, and you guys, I know you have several employed too, and again, everybody that worked for Hoosier Uplands is always proud when you hear, I work for Hoosier Uplands, and that says a lot about, your facilities whenever your employees love where they work and are happy where they work.
That's right. They're one of our best
and I think it's
advertisements.
good, that both of us care for people, in our communities, because I do think that, it means a lot to have people being cared for by people that know them or know their families, or maybe went to school with their daughter or something. I think it just makes the person more comfortable.
Yeah, I agree. And I love how, and everybody compliments each other, and just like, if somebody, if it would be better for them to go to a different facility or to be, part of it's always nice when you guys direct each other and help each other and have that networking of everybody working together.
That's right. I mean, there are residents that really would benefit much more from the dementia programming across town in Salem Crossing, and I have no problem whatsoever directing them that way, because I know that they're going to benefit much more when they have that directed attention, and they're going to thrive in that environment, whereas they'll be fine over at Meadowview, but they're probably not going to thrive.
No, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
And I know that everybody, works together. I love that. And I want to make sure that, because that's not always the case, but in this community, Hoosier Uplands, Salem Crossing, Meadowview, everybody works for the best, for the person, for the individual that is in need.
Yep.
So, I love that. So. Melissa, thanks for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Hoosier Uplands, just give us that phone number again, and we'll let you get out of here. I know it's Monday and you got a lot going on, but let's give that phone number again.
It's 812-849-4447.
All right, and do you want to read our sponsors again? And Hoosier Uplands is included in that.
Let's see.
Okay, no.
I know. It's Salem Crossing, Meadowview, Walmart, Dr. Black, High Institute, Fantastic Sam's, Fox Pearly Wealth Management, and
AFP, American for Prosperity. Awesome. Melissa, keep up the great work at Hoosier Uplands, and thanks so much for hanging out with us. And Krista, thank you from Meadowview.
Thank you.
All right, let's have the best day ever, ladies, okay?
All right.
all right.
All right, bye-bye.